Finding freedom, but still lost. I mean, does it really mean to find freedom? Well, in my experience, when I moved to Canada back in 2010, I came from Pakistan, and it's a very conservative country, and we have all these rules and obligations and parents and all that kind of stuff. And so when I moved to a new country, I found kind of a freedom, like, oh, I don't have to be back in time by this much. I don't have to ask permission before leaving the house. So there was all these new types of freedom that I was enjoying, and it's all very fun and good. But with that freedom, then you forget, or you're rediscovering as to who you really are, because you had those set of rules back in whatever house you're living before, and it could be just moving out of a house, not a country. But I guess more exaggerated when it's a different culture or different people. I mean, back in 2010, Canada was much different than what it is now, but starting to change. Anyway, so I had these newfound freedoms, and then back home, there's a different type of identity. Okay, this is Moin. He comes back home at this time. He asks for permission, this and that and that. But now there's a freedom of new Moin with all these, with basically a clean slate, no sort of rules. So who is Moin in a place where there's no sort of rules, nobody quote unquote watching him? And so with the new sense of freedom that I found being in a new country and being far away from where I came from, and of course it's not an immediate effect. It takes time because you're assimilating to the new culture. You're learning the values, the weather, the people, how they talk, the local slang, and trying to fit in. And you always also, if you're from a minority and your color of skin has history, you're always looking at it from a different lens. Now you're in a country with different colored people, and they may look at you a certain way based on what's been popularized in the media or propagated. So anyway, so there was that newfound freedom, but and I didn't have a new identity within myself. I didn't know who I was, as not a lot of people do at that age, and you're just discovering now when you've moved out of your parents' house and you're living on campus with a bunch of different people. Now you're no longer following the rules of the house that you lived in before. Now it's a new house and you make the rules, and so there's a new sense of freedom, but I was still very, very lost, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way, because you don't know who you are at that time, and it's because of that physical transition as well, but also mentally now, and you don't really give yourself rules. Basically everything is possible, and so that's how I found myself totally free and lost at the same time. And took me about a year and a half to actually make some friends, start talking to people, assimilate myself in the culture, and come to a sort of identity that was possible at that time. It's very different from what it is now. So yeah, that's kind of a cool concept. If anybody's ever felt free and lost at the same time, give this video a thumbs up or share your experiences. Thanks for tuning in.